This is me recording this for like the third, fourth time, because the first time I did it, I accidentally deleted the audio. And the second time I recorded this was like last week, and I just never uploaded it. And I thought, like, you know what, I don't want to do the old one. I want to do this one now. I don't know, just have it like, I don't know, I think it'd be weird to upload like my thoughts from like a week ago. Like, I have lots of thoughts a day, so just to keep them recent and fresh. So, I should introduce myself. Hi, I'm Cough Beanie Art. You're either here from my Instagram, Tumblr, or TikTok, which, if you are, thank you for taking the time to look at this silly thing I uploaded. Also, this is what I sound like. If you just happen to find this, like, on YouTube, hi, you should go follow my socials. You should go do that. Shameless plug. And so I'm just here to like do a commentary or like a voiceover over my speed paint. I've always really liked these videos, just because when I like to look at the art too, I like to stick these on in the background as a noise. So whether you're actually watching this, whether you're just putting it on in the background for noise. By the way, this is kind of like ASMR. I'm sorry, because like it's late at night and I should honestly be sleeping because I'm honestly kind of tired. But you know, other people are sleeping, so I have to be quiet. Shh. And so I'm kind of whispery. Sorry. So yeah, I'm just here to talk about like my process and the thing that I'm drawing. So first I'll talk about my process. So I'm sketching. I'll say it's nothing that special. I'm just sketching. This takes me like forever to do. But I don't know what I was on when I was drawing this, because like this honestly turned out really good. Like, this is kind of old, but this is still like one of like my favorite pieces. This is just like whatever I was doing back then, I need to do like now. Anyways, what I'm drawing, I'm drawing Brian from Marble Hornets, but Brian from Marble Hornets specifically from this AU that I have and that I've had for like ever, and that I'm trying to develop and like make better. So for the AU, I guess, because I mean, Brian from Marble Hornets, either watch it, it's really good, or you already know the series and you know what he's like. So yeah. So this AU I came up with in like middle school after I first watched Marble Hornets, because I first found out about Marble Hornets through like creepypasta, and so I was kind of like familiar with the idea of them being proxies, like Masking Hoodie being proxies. And I know a lot of like some fans don't really like them being portrayed as proxies, but I like the idea of proxies, and I still think the idea is kind of fun. Like, I know like realistically it wouldn't really happen, like they wouldn't agree to that, but still I just think it's a fun thing, and like that's something I'm trying to tackle in my AU, I guess. And so yeah, so I like middle school me wanted to make like a good proxy AU, and like honestly the original idea didn't even have a story. It was just me sticking characters together in the woods and seeing what shenanigans they get up to. And so my original AU had Tim and Brian from Marble Hornets. It had Kate from Slender the Arrival, Tiki Toby, and my OC Kimberly. And Kimberly used to be the main character. And like I said, there wasn't really any of a story. I can't really tell you any of it. And I honestly don't really remember what like Brian's role was. Hot tip, if you have like a good idea, or not any idea, just write it down. Because like I have like so many like things where it's like I remember I had this idea, but I don't remember the specifics about it, because I just swore that I would remember it all, and I didn't, and I ended up forgetting all about it. And like I want to think about it, but like I have no notes to go back on. And so yeah, and so kind of with this like rewrite, I guess, me going back to it, like the reason I come back to it, because like when I first came up with this idea, I kind of dropped it because I got into other stuff. But like, you know, I'd always kind of come back to it. I was thinking, oh yeah, like that idea that I had like back in middle school is still pretty good. And so I just keep like, you know, like I never really developed it, but I just always thought about it because I always still thought it was kind of cool. And especially like on my Instagram, if you guys followed me on there, like I had this like creepypasta comic, I guess, and like I'm not going to work on it anymore. Like I'm not going to work on the comic. I'm still going to work on like the story, I guess, and hopefully try my best to convey it through like videos like this. And I kind of wanted to rewrite the AU to kind of like coincide, or at least to be in somewhat the same universe as that comic as I was working on. And also just to kind of touch back on this, especially with the stuff that we know now with with the comic and issue 3.5, I thought would be kind of fun. And so yeah, just kind of to come back to it and kind of try to make it better what middle school me wanted. And so this is still a work in progress. I've been busy with school stuff. I'm still a student, and yeah, I was supposed to upload this last week, but then I had finals, and so that just never happened. And I just I also I'm multi-fandom, so I draw other stuff too. And I make stories for other stuff too. I'm also trying to work on original content. And so I guess, before diving back into the specifics of what this rewrite entails, and specifically Brian's role in it, I'll talk about what I'm doing here. So I hate line art. I really want to be good at it. I want to try to do more of this in my more recent art, I guess, and the art that I'm doing now. But while I was doing this, I just was not in the mood for line art. And so I made the sketch black, and I just kind of cleaned it up. I know this probably takes longer than it normally for to just do regular line art, but I still like how it turned out. So at the end of the day, whatever I got from point A to point B, whatever road I took, don't matter. I got where I wanted. And so yeah, sorry, I'm just cleaning up, and this, I said, it kind of takes me forever. And so yeah, and so kind of for the specifics of this AU as I'm currently rewriting it, Tim, Brian, and Kate are still in it, and so is Kimberly, but I'm heavily rewriting and reworking her, because Kimberly used to be a Marble Hornets OC, and I'm just trying to make her own Slenderverse type character, I guess. And the big thing is that I took Tiki Toby out of it, and then I put Charlie Matheson Jr. into it, which I think will be really fun. I have fun ideas for him, but I'm not going to talk about this now because this ain't about him. And so now with this new AU, all I know is that Tim's going to be the main character, and as for Brian's role, he's going to come in because it's going to be Tim, and then Kate and Charlie come together, and then Brian comes in. And kind of with all the stuff that we know now with 3.5, like I said, I've recorded this a bunch of times, so I don't know if I mentioned this now. I haven't read the comics. I have the digital copy of the first issue, but I don't remember what account I used to get it, so I don't know how to access it anymore. And that was it. And so I kind of just been getting the storyline through screenshots and what other people say about it. And I know this comic is still going on. I think the next issue is the last one or something. And so just one, with the fact that I'm not reading it, so I'm I don't really have a clear idea on what's going on. Two, just with the nature of Marble Hornets as it is, I don't think we'll get all of the answers even as the comic ends. I think there'll still be stuff that can be left up to interpretation. And so I'm just kind of trying to work around that, because when I first came up with this, again, I don't know if I mentioned this, I first came up with this before the comic was announced. And so kind of going back to it with the new stuff that we know, it's been fun. And so kind of how I'm trying to justify Brian's being here, even though we saw him in what I think was meant to be the arc. Again, I'm not really sure what happened. So my kind of reasoning is that what is seen in the comic is Brian's consciousness, or his conscience, just his mental being, I guess. And what is in my AU is his body, so his corpse, I guess, after he fell. That's why he's kind of that's why he's falling apart, and he's losing bits, and you can see through his skin. Well, he's all pale and gross, and yeah. Pale and gross, and yeah. That's how I'm justifying it. I'm not sure if that's true to canon. Oh well, sue me. Don't really, please. So kind of now, I thought it'd be really fun to do, just because then that deals with Brian is here, but he doesn't really remember anything. That's a big thing. He doesn't remember Marble Hornets. He doesn't know who Tim is. He doesn't know how he died. He just doesn't remember anything. And so okay, this isn't scripted, but like I have some notes, and by notes I mean whatever I put in that Instagram text box. Oh wait, am I doing something? I am. I'm coloring. Okay, so while I kind of try to get my thoughts together, I'll kind of talk about what like my coloring process, I guess, or like what I'm doing right now. I'm just like adding in base colors. And so you kind of saw like right now he started rendering like coloring out Tim's face, but then it went back. So what I did was like I kind of set out like base colors, and then I did like just like a bunch of overlay and multiply layers just to kind of get the vibes I wanted. And like all I knew is that I wanted the vibe to be like dark, like musty green, I guess. And so like I know like Brian's skin ends up coming out like green. And I know that's like a basic like zombie skin color. I don't want him to be like literally actually green. I just thought it kind of fit the vibes. And so now here I am, like just base colors, kind of trying to shade things out. I just do like basic shading with just like hue shifting the color or whatever. I'll go back in with more shading with like the multiply, like all like the layer modes or whatever. I can talk about that more when that happens. Yeah. And so, like I said, so Brian kind of comes in to the story with like no memories. He doesn't remember anything. But something that I thought would be cool is that like maybe a way that Brian could get some of his memories back is through something that I'm calling muscle memory. And so basically, like if he moves a certain way, if maybe like someone interacts with him in a certain way, and like maybe like if Tim like talks to him like with a certain way, or like touches his arm or something, Brian will like remember something. Like I have this scene in my head of him like falling back like onto the ground, maybe in a fight or something. He just remembers that like he died falling. And so like a lot of this is like it's not like always gonna happen. Like if you just like walked and just like got like a onslaught of flashbacks, like that wouldn't like that would be painful and it would suck. And so this is just something that kind of happens. And like for me, just kind of like it's like a story thing. I just kind of want this to like prompt a bit of conflict in like between Tim and Brian, because like I think out of like all of Brian's relationships in this comic, like I think the one with like him and Tim is just inherently gonna be like the most interesting just because of all the history they have. And so like he kind of realizes maybe like with the falling flashback that like Tim knows stuff about Brian, but like Tim isn't telling him. And so he's just gonna kind of like confront him and give him answers, whereas Tim is conflicted because he knows that like he should tell Brian stuff, because a big part of Marble Hornets was that he didn't tell anyone anything, and now look at what happened, everyone's dead. But he also just kind of doesn't want to put himself through all of that again, and so he just kind of doesn't want to talk about it. And he doesn't want to talk to Brian just because seeing his dead friend in front of him is like, it makes him feel icky. He doesn't like that. And so yeah, and obviously like Brian isn't going to get all of his memories back, just because like what Tim knows about Brian is limited, and like I want him to get his hands on like the Marble Hornets channel at some point, and like the To The Arc channel, but like even then like the information that can give him is limited. It's like obviously he's not going to get everything back, but just to kind of maybe like learn about like who he was and what happened, and in a weird way like kind of try to like reconcile with Tim, I guess. Just like maybe rekindle what once was or whatever, I don't know. I'm like semi a Brim shipper. I don't really, I like Brim, but I also don't want to include it in my comic just because I think it's kind of weird, because Brian's like dead and gross and probably smelly. Like I know I have Tim hugging him, but like he's probably like really smelly. I don't think anyone would want to date him. And so yeah, what was it? Oh, I guess another thing is also kind of like Brian's relationship with like the other characters. And so like with Brian and like Kate and Charlie are really close to Tim. Like they, I don't know, they just like really like him, just because for a long time it was just the three of them. So they kind of have like their whole system. And then kind of Brian comes along, and they can very obviously tell that like he makes Tim nervous, and that he makes Tim uncomfortable. And so they kind of just like leave him out. So he's kind of like the outcast of the group. And so he kind of hangs out with Kimberly, who, like I think I mentioned before, she used to be a Marble Hornets OC. So it's kind of a callback to their old relationship. And so yeah. Also, something that I think would be funny is that because he's like a zombie, he technically can't feel pain, but I like to think that he still feels some pain in like his back. Funny thing, while I was drawing this, I had like this thing of him like with like his back exposed, and I didn't remember why I drew it. It took me like so long to realize, oh wait, I'm supposed to draw the bruise on his back. And so yeah, it's just something I think could be fun, and for like angst purposes is that like his body does, like, he can't feel pain, but oh, sometimes he'll feel the pain in his back, and oh gee, I wonder why, and then he'll bring it up, and then, sorry if you heard that loud clack, that was my Apple Pencil, sorry. Be like, I feel pain in my back, and then Tim just like feels really bad. I know, I'm getting really rambly, it's really late, and my throat is really dry, and so yeah, I don't know. As for like story-wise, again, I'm kind of like, and like I said, I'm busy and like I'm still developing this, and so like I said, like I'm working on this, I'm working on like writing for like the other stuff that I'm interested in. I'm trying to work on like original writing, and then I have school writing because I'm a student again, and that keeps me busy. And so yeah, I don't know, this is almost over, so I don't want to get into like too long of a tangent. I guess one thing is that, you know, if you're all the way here, thank you. I don't know what like video length is good. This is around just like 18 minutes. So like if you guys want like longer, like if you guys like longer content, if you like shorter content, I might end up like falling into like YouTube shorts just because I make like reels and TikToks. Like what's another thing for me to make that's like not a big deal. But yeah, also if you guys just have any tips on like if you guys want to hear more about the process, if you want to hear more about like the stuff I'm writing about, if you want to hear more about the stuff I'm writing about, then I suggest like also go to like my Instagram. I think that could be like, if you want to hear basically what I said, maybe a little bit less in depth, but probably like a bit more coherent, that'd probably be really helpful. And yeah, just any tips and tricks would be helpful. Also, if you guys don't like the way this audio is turning out, then, or like the audio quality, I guess, then like I'll try to find a way to fix this. But if you guys don't mind it, then like I'll just keep doing stuff at like the dead of night and keeping it kind of ASMR. Yeah, this is almost over. Okay, thank you, goodbye, thank you for watching, thank you.